50 years ago today, one of the largest ships to sail the Great Lakes went down on a stormy November night. And 1 year later, Gordon Lightfoot immortalized the 29 men who lost their lives on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And he did it with 4 chords and 1 melody line. Not only that, but 4 chords that are almost entirely major. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald was the song that Gordon Lightfoot himself considered to be his best work. And because of Gordon Lightfoot and this song, the 29 men who lost their lives aboard the Edmund Fitzgerald were now remembered by the entire world. Take a listen to this. Before he even comes in with the lyrics, we've basically heard the entire harmonic content of the song. That's really it, and there's a couple of different ways, I think, to interpret this, and it's one of the reasons why I couldn't say that it's entirely major chords that makes this very simple song so heartbreaking. Because I'll show you exactly what's going on here. The first chord that we get is a B. It's actually kind of like a B sus2. We hear this a lot, right? I almost don't recall hearing, I'm not sure if at any point we actually hear a full-blown B major chord. By the way, this is the recording is not A440, it's A446, which means I've had to detune the piano to A446 so that this isn't impossible to listen to. So those of you with perfect pitch, I am sorry. I'm lucky I don't have perfect pitch, so this sounds perfectly fine to me. So we'll deal with it for the sake of this recording. But yeah, it's really interesting. I don't even know if I hear a B major chord at any point. And as we go through this, I'm going to listen a little more closely. I hear a lot of B sus2. And that makes a lot of sense too, because it's so fascinating the way, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this song, not only is it the 50th anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald going down, but Gordon Lightfoot managed to do something with this song that to me is so fascinating, because it's not your typical sad song, about death or loss. But it's also not a happy song. The chords that we're using here, like we said, we use a B sus2. We have, I'm interpreting this as an F sharp minor chord, but you might also look at it as an A major chord. They're very similar to each other. And in fact, if we can play A major and F sharp minor, keeping our B in the bass, and it's kind of both at the same time. So what is it technically? There's a few different iterations, I think, throughout the song, and we're going to hear some different uses of it. But I know for sure there are times when we very clearly hear A major to E major resolving to that B sus. It's really, if you were to ask the question, how do we complete this? Do we complete it with a minor third? And I think it's pretty obvious that no, we don't. It's not a minor third. So this would most likely be completed with a major third. And this chord to me it's so beautiful, and it is somewhat ambiguous. We're not really sure if it's F sharp minor or A major. I don't think it matters that much. But then we very clearly get our 4 chord in the key of B, and that's E major. And that's it. That's the entire song. So what is it about this that makes it so somber? Obviously, the lyrics are a huge part of it. The story is a huge part of it. But this story could have been told over an extremely, very obviously sad chord progression, but that's not what we did here. And I almost feel like the way that Gordon Lightfoot wrote this, it gives it this tinge of mystery, if that makes any sense. And for such a long time, even now today, there has been a lot of mystery surrounding the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. For so long, nobody actually definitively knew why it went down. And this was something that Gordon Lightfoot struggled with, because he didn't want to tell a story that wasn't accurate. And he actually has made some changes to the lyrics over the years. We'll talk about that shortly.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down.
Oh, there's our F sharp.
The big lake they call Gitchagumi.
So the very first phrase of the lyrics use
the
that.
lake, it is said, never gives up her dead.
And
when
again,
the skies of November turn gloomy.
B.
With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side.
So it sounds like most of the time, as the lyrics come in here, we are using the bass note moving around. But now I'm trying to remember, there are a few instances where it does hold that pedal tone out much more consistently. Let's listen to those.
Coming back from some mill in Wisconsin, as the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland.
You know, this lyrical style, for what this is, for the purpose of the song, is so cool to me. Like, not everything perfectly rhymes, not everything perfectly fits in terms of cadence rhythmically, but it kind of doesn't matter, because what this really feels like, it's Gordon Lightfoot is telling a tale, right? He's telling the story, and for the purposes of that, you don't really care if the lyrics are the most poetic thing you've ever heard. That's not really the point. The point is to tell the story. This just does it so well.
Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
In November on Lake Superior, often what happens, they call it the Witch of November, and he mentions that in the next phrase, but the winds coming out of the north collide with the warmer air that's still hovering over the lake, and it results in some pretty nasty storms. I think a lot of people don't realize how big the Great Lakes are. I mean, I know for me, I grew up in the Northeast. I didn't grow up near, aside from Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, which borders New York, but I was way on the other side of New York where I grew up on the Vermont border. So I never saw I never went to the Great Lakes, and I didn't quite understand how big these lakes are. And I wonder if a lot of people who don't live near them or who haven't been there truly understand the size of these things. You think you're on the shore of the ocean. You cannot see the other side in many instances. It's just they're absolutely massive. And so the roughness can rival that of the Atlantic. And particularly in November, when the weather starts to change, it is when it gets really nasty. Here's the pedal tone. Now we're hanging on to that B on the bottom.
The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing.
Wow.
And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the Witch of November come stealing.
And I said the thing about it not being as poetic, but that's not even true. I mean, look at some of the way that these things are phrased. It's just, it is completely poetic. I mean, it's beautiful ways to phrase this. And maybe part of the motivation for the choice of words comes from trying to connect the rhyme in some way. But it is a beautiful way. A lot of this is so beautifully phrased. So I guess I didn't mean to say that it's not poetic, because it definitely is.
Dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind.
So it seems like in the interludes, we're going to get that pedal tone. The B is going to hang on.
When supper time saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. At 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know ya.
This was one of the lyrics that he wound up changing later because the wording main hatchway caved in. A lot of people thought that suggested that there was error on the part of the crew, and what they discovered when they went to look at the wreck is that had not been the case. And so, Gordon Lightfoot made every effort because we didn't know at the time, or nobody knew when he was writing this song. He was trying to be as accurate as he could based on what information was available. But at the end of the day, all the information was not available. So he had to take some, I guess you could call it artistic liberty, but once there came more information to suggest that no, that's not what happened, he started to perform the song using different lyrics to not suggest that there had been something that the crew had done wrong. And it's just a testament to how important it was to him to get the story right. And the melody too, I mean, that's one phrase. And then the other phrase is exactly the same, except it ends going up instead of down. But that's it. I mean, there's something genius about using the exact same melody, that singular melody line over and over again, without changing a single thing, because the focus is the story, right? Let's not have the harmony get in the way. Let's not have the melody get in the way. Let's just let it, like true folk music, let's let it be a pathway through which to tell this story.
The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Really nice interlude there. Now the whole thing comes down.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her.
15 miles. Imagine that.
They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters.
What a song. What a song with so simple in the absolute perfect way to let the story be the focal point. I mean, it's not very often that we talk about anything involving lyrics on this channel, and that's because, well, my goal is to teach you about harmony, is to teach you about the construction of music. But sometimes when you have things like this, it's the lack of all that stuff that really makes it impactful. The song goes on a little bit longer, but we're running out of time on this one today. But yeah, it's amazing that it's been 50 years today. And I, like many other people, probably like most people, would have no clue about the Edmund Fitzgerald if it weren't for Gordon Lightfoot writing this song. And you got to imagine the families of these 29 men that went down with the ship. I mean, they were able to hear this song less than a year after it happened. And I mean, I can't even imagine. There's something about the sea, the open water. In this case, obviously the Great Lakes. It fascinates us, but there's also like a profound mystery to all of it. And I think Gordon Lightfoot really captured exactly what needed to be captured in this case. And I wanted to talk about it today because it is the 50th anniversary of the loss of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and what an incredible song that Gordon Lightfoot left us with to remember it by. Absolutely incredible. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to this somewhat more somber video today, and be sure to tune in tomorrow as we continue our month of music, and we'll see you tomorrow.